thank Hugh Nagar for being here to do a glass blowing demonstration for us. It's been in the works for quite a while. He was here for our holiday fair, but then agreed to come back and do this again for everyone here. So thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you, people.
Thank you. Assistant who helped you set up, and thanks to the volunteers who are here who are going to help distribute some things a little later.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
So
thank you. Enjoy.
What I do, I work with two types of glass. Glass rods, where I can sculpture these little animals, and then I use glass tubing, where I can blow glass. So I'm going to make a vase.
Would you like a mic?
Anyway, so the glass tubing, the first thing I'm going to make is a vase, a glass vase, and I have a little flower that'll go in it. And here it is. Hey, can you hear me now? Hello, there we go.
There you go.
Thank you. Hello.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Anyway, what I was saying is the little animals are done with glass rods. They're solid glass rods. And I start sculpturing. I have a small torch here that runs on propane and oxygen. And it brings the temperature up to about 3,500 degrees. Okay, hello. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now? Okay, yeah. So these glass animals are done with a glass rod that's Pyrex. There's different types of glass. There's soft glass that they use like on window pane. And then there's this borosilicate, which means it takes a lot more temperature to melt. And they come in colors, and that's what I use for contrast, okay? The tubing is all Pyrex tube. It's standard wall, 25 millimeter tubing that I blow into. And I'll go, as I describe what I'm doing, I'll tell you why the process goes the way it does, okay? Okay.
You all can,
Yeah. Okay,
doing your
great.
thing?
Yep. Now,
Yeah.
what I have here are dynamium coated glasses, okay? And what they do, when the glass is in the torch, there's sodium in the glass that burns off, and that causes a bright light. And this filters out that bright light. So what you see is really bright, but we got glasses. At some point, you can pass them around and see what I'm seeing. It eliminates the brightness, and you can see what I'm doing inside. But you can still visualize what I'm doing as I go. Thank you. The first thing I...
Just talk normal.
Okay.
Do your thing.
Okay.
I'll get you. We'll work it out.
Here we go. The first thing I do is put on my... This is my propane. This gives me the heat. Now I give it oxygen, and it turns the torch blue. All right. Now what I got here is a very heavy large tube that I'm going to pull points. There we go. Well, I'm going to attach this glass rod to one side of this tube, and I'm going to go 180 degrees in both directions so that the glass is so soft I can pull it apart. If I keep spinning it, I get a nice tube, but it's much thinner than what I started with. Because it's so thin, it cools down rather quickly, but it's still kind of hot, so I'm going to cool it down a bit to do the other side. This technique is called pulling points, and it allows me to work with the piece in the center of the 2 points. Okay, now this side is sealed and this side is open. As soon as it cools down a little bit, I'll be able to grab both ends. Now I'm trying to center it so that when I do the blowing, it comes even and centered. Now I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier, but instead of pulling it apart, I'm going to apply air pressure and create the bottom of the vase. Then I'm going to center the bottom a bit more. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to make what the neck will be, the neck of the pitcher. The glass solidifies in 5 seconds. I'm going to reverse the opening to the opposite side because I want to blow the top of the vase off. I'm going to get a molten wall on the very top of this vase. And at a certain point, I'm going to create a big, big bubble. I'm not blowing hard, I'm just blowing with torque. Big bubble. Then I'm going to use a glass rod. You see all those sharp edges around the top of the vase? To get rid of those, I'm going to wrap this rod right around it. Now I want a little spout in this vase. And then I'm going to take a regular glass rod again. And I'm going to put a little handle on this vase. At the right time, the glass will follow the contour of my movement. And I can create a little handle. There we go. Now I'm going to hold on to the little handle. And we got a vase. Oops. Better now? Okay, yeah. Thank you. All right, little vase. Hold on, let me see if I get it. I gave it away already. Anyway. No, that's for Alicia. All right. Did we give it away already too?
I didn't do anything.
Okay, sorry about that, folks. All right, my next piece is going to be a dolphin. Would it be easier if I took this shield down? We'll put it up when people come up close. Lift up there, yeah. That way you can hear me better. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The next piece I'm going to do is a glass dolphin. One of my favorite creatures. I go down to the Keys to do shows down there. And there's a place called Dolphins Plus where they let you swim with the dolphins. It's heaven sent. Okay, I'm going to take the same size tubing and do the same pulling of points. It's always the start of these blown pieces. I'm going to break the opening so the air can flow. If I seal a piece of tubing that's hollow completely, vacuum gets created, and this form the glass piece. I'm going to have a little more tubing so I can make the body of the dolphin tapered. Now this time, instead of pulling it symmetrically, I'm going to pull it at an angle. It might remind you of a hummingbird, but it's really going to be a dolphin. I'm going back and forth on this tubing so I create a larger section for the body of the dolphin. I make it arched like a dolphin's jumping. Now people say that this is a hummingbird, but trust me, it'll be a dolphin. And I'm going to burn off where the tail's going to be. Now at this point, I'm going to blow a little hole for the dolphin to be breathing in the water. But I'm going to blow it in the flame. If I blow it outside of the flame, I'll get that big bubble. So in the flame, I got to make a little puncture.
Oh.
I think you might have heard that bump. Okay. Now, I'm going to create some heat on this body of the dolphin because I'm going to apply solid glass rod to make the fin. The fin is made by folding the glass over itself. And it gives me texture that could be used for wings or fins. But all the time I've got to keep it uniformly heated between the fin and the body. The body is hollow, so it will cool faster. And I can't have distinction in the amount of heat this piece has, because that's where cracks might happen. So I give it a kind of a warm bath. Now I'm going to make the nose of the dolphin. Give it a little spout, or a nose. Again, the heat. I'm going to use a little different colored glass to give him some eyes. Again, I'm keeping the body always warm, so there's no distinct difference in the temperature. Okay. More of a fold for the back fins. And both sides get an even Steven. Now, in my swimming of dolphins, they allow me to set up my torch at this facility. So I got to hear all the dissertations that the trainers tell the public before they go swimming. And they told us that when dolphins' fins are going forward, they're nervous. So I always make them going back so that they're relaxed. They also tell you when you're in the water and the dolphin comes up to you and starts bopping its head and you think it's so cute, what they're doing is telling you to get out of my way because they can't see directly in front of them. They see peripheral. Just little things I learned. At this point, I'm gonna move over here. I'm gonna get this piece nice and hot, and then I'm gonna place it in this fireproof cotton. What it's gonna do is gonna contain the heat, and it's almost an annealing process, so that the heat distributes slowly, and the piece can stay together. So I don't go near the torch, I go on the outskirts, where the fire is nice and spread out. And I'm going to leave it in there until it cools down, and then we can put it out. That contains it. Now the next piece is again blown. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, that's the original start. There we go. Now this one is going to be a little seal, and it's going to be balancing a ball in its nose. Come on now. But in order to stop the shock of different colors, I'm going to make the ball first, which will be on the end of a rod here. Oh, they make, sorry. I'm kind of backtracking, folks, sorry. Okay. That's the starting point. Now this is working with a solid glass rod here. If I heat the glass rod up, holding it at a 45-degree angle, the glass will melt and begin to form a ball. And the reason it's forming a ball is because I'm spinning it 180 degrees in both directions. And if I take it out of the flame, you'll see how much it glows on its own. Now, when you put the glass down, it'll cool down to clear, and it looks like you can handle it, but it's extremely hot. It will light a match if you touch it, even when it's clear. What I'm doing here is I'm attaching a cold stick, they call it, on this ball, so that I can control it without making a big mark on it. But I keep spinning it till I get a nice round sphere. And this will be used down the road here. Now starts the body of the seal. Instead of, like again, spinning it the bottom of the vase, I'm going to spin it with a little bit of control. Then I'm going to come in, make the neck and the head in one motion. At this point, I'm going to break the other side so I can control the size of the head. The same notion I did for the dolphin, where I had a breathing hole. Once I get the shape right, I'm going to put a little hole, again, in the flame, Now I begin to make the fins. Here's the little ball. And we give it some eyes. Oop, with a different color. There we go. Make sure I got it in the right position. You can see the seal. Balancing a ball. It just needs fins so it could stand up. And you got to keep in mind how it balances. Again, it's the same fold technique that can be used so variously. Now I've got the fins in the right position. I'm going to make some clearance here. Well, actually, we'll use it up here. There we go. I think you can see a seal in this situation. There you go. I think we need a little bit of adjustment here. Otherwise, it won't stand up properly. Now for the $65 question. Do you stand up? No? All right. You need to be altered a bit. Let's see if I can do so. Folks, you win some and you lose the rest here. It ain't over till it's over. Come on. All right. I want this to stand. It's gonna stand. You gotta be definite of these little creations. If you need longer legs, I'll give you longer legs, okay? It's like a child throwing a tantrum here. Okay.
So it wants to.
Yeah. I want to nudge a little more. Yeah. Stubborn little guy. But I'm a little more stubborn. There we go. Ta-da! Thanks for your patience, folks. Okay. Now, I'm going to do some of the solid pieces. And one of my favorite creatures, again, is the elephant. Now, I don't need to have this heavy torch when I'm doing this piece. I use a smaller tip by simply switching the nozzle.
And what are you using? What's coming out of there?
Propane and oxygen coming out of the torch tip. Is that what you meant? Yeah. Yeah.
General.
It's just a smaller, it's a jeweler's torch basically. But the smaller tip gives me some detail control. The large tip was for the blown work, where I gotta encompass the whole tube. Where here, all I need to do is work in a much smaller scale. But again, it's the same technique as far as making a ball. I rotate it 180 degrees in both directions. And this will be the body of the little elephant. Sometimes you work with this for hours and a piece comes out and you don't know where it came from. Because when you're doing something new, you're kind of experimenting. So this is the body of the elephant. I know it don't look like it right now, but it is. Then it's a cold stick to hold onto it. Then I'm going to heat up where the head's going to be. And I move to a perpendicular angle where I could push down and create the forehead of the elephant. Then I go back to where the trunk will be. And you can start seeing the trunk, which, by the way, has got to be up for good luck. It's got to face your front door, so good luck comes into your home. Then I break the other end off, and I wrap. Now I can start putting on limbs. When I do the limbs, I've got to heat up the body where the limb is going, so that when I touch it with the glass rods, it forms one piece of glass with no seams. Any seams in the glass may cause a crack upon cooling. So you eliminate the seams and kind of guide the glass with gravity and the energy of this torch being so intense. It's like a flowing motion. So shaping with gravity is very exciting. You kind of see something and then you know the universe is helping you. I move slowly so that my left hand is the anchor section and my right hand can create like something to build on. You see, the small torch allows me to just specifically work on the limbs one step at a time. Now once I get the pieces done, I'm going to use a graphite plate. When you touch hot glass with metal, sometimes it sticks to it. The metal becomes connected. But if you use graphite, that doesn't happen. The graphite is something that you could sculpture with, but this forming the piece. So I'm going to heat all 4 feet simultaneously and then flatten it. Then I'm going to create a little bit of a tail, again in a different color. and a couple of eyes. Now he's got eyes. Now I need some Dumbo-sized ears. So this is a pair of pliers that just has two metal discs that are welded on it, and it's a flattening tool. Once I get a substantial amount of glass that's almost like a ball, but before it turns into a ball, I flatten it, and I got an ear. Then I connect it. Once I connect it to the head, I can come back in. It is solidified on the head. I can use a small torch to create the shape of the ear that I want. I like to start with a new amount of glass so that I don't... If you reheat the glass a couple of times, it won't behave in the same manner. So you want a fresh burn to have a new ear put on. Now, there's my little elephant. Takes a few minutes for it to cool. Thank you. This is just a demonstration of the fluidity of glass. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create what I use as bases. Hold on. This is kind of an additional thing I'm doing before you guys come up here. But I think it's neat to watch. I'll need the big tube. Maybe I shouldn't do this,
You
but...
want to put the screen up again?
No. There we go. Okay, what I was doing before with the blowing and the pulling of tubes, this time I'm going to make it very short, but I'm going to connect it to a 5mm rod, which allows me to spin very fast. And I think you'll get... Okay, I'm using a 5mm rod because I'm going to do some spinning action. I want to show you how centrifugal force can affect the glass. Once I collapse the glass, whoops, oh, see what happened here? I was totally sealed. Hold on. Okay, try that again, folks. Sorry. All right. Need a fresh tube too. Okay. Actually, this is kind of neat to watch, but there's no purpose in it other than what I would do down the road here. Hold on. Yeah. All right, folks, this is fighting me. I think we should stop the demo, maybe.
Not working.
Okay, yeah. It's fighting me every inch of the way here. Okay, folks. I'm going to give up on it.
There.
Yeah. Well, I'm stubborn here. This isn't When I need to do a base for somebody to stand up, this is what I do. It's working now. Okay. Now I'm going to capture some air in here. And the air is going to expand and I'll pop an opening by blowing a bubble. And this is what I wanted to show you. Centrifugal force does the creation. Then it becomes a base. And I can add a ballerina on it or a bird bath or what you like. That's my demo, guys. Thank you. You're welcome to come up, choose an animal you'd like or a necklace or...
Let's get this up. People probably just want to know a little bit about your background.
Okay.
Give a little bit about your history. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this almost 50 years. Okay, I've been doing it almost 50 years. I got to Albuquerque, New Mexico to work with the Indians, and I did so for 2 years. And another job that I had is recruiting people for a trade school. And I went to the trade school and they had glass blowing. So I thought I was going to get in there and see the blowpipe work, and it was a torch. And it kind of blew my mind, and I sat down. The course was 3 months long, and it was once or twice a week. And after a bit of time, I brought my own equipment. And I had a dog named Queenie. She was a Doberman Pinscher, and I had her operated on, and it gave her another year of life. But then I had to put her down, and I got really depressed about losing her. But I decided to sit down after 3 months of working with the glass, and I made a little Snoopy playing baseball. And what came out looked like he was going to hit a grand slam. And I felt that it was my dog Queenie telling me, I got jackrabbits to chase, I got fields to run. And I realized that's what art's about. It comes from somewhere else. And if you happen to have the dexterity and the willingness to work with this medium, things get created, you know. And because I look back, I said, where did you come from, you know? But I knew that I had something here. And then I kept doing it. Next thing I know, I started doing shows. And I had the benefit of being able to work in front of people. And that was my ticket to get into shows and to do this kind of work, you know. And I get to meet all kinds of people in my work. That's very rewarding. Anyway,
Go on. I just want to let people know.
Thank you.
A little something about your background.
Yeah, it was 1975 that I did this, and I know the people that I worked with. I consider them my mentor. One guy, his name is Lewis Wilson, and he runs his business is Crystal Myth, and he's in Albuquerque. And I hired his daughter to do one of my parties. You know, we became really good friends, and it's people like that keeps you going in life. You know, when you meet somebody that's willing to teach. I look at it. I teach this too. I taught for 2 years at a special needs school, and I found a couple of prodigies there, and I made sure that their parents knew, and I helped them set up their equipment so that they can put these kids behind the torch. And one of the kids came and got lessons from me, and he made a little medallion for his girlfriend to take her to the prom. And that got me a lot of great feelings, you know, so you got to make it all work. If you have any questions, feel free. Thank you.
Have you done the demonstrations at the Eastern States?
Say that again?
Have you done the demonstrations at the Eastern
At the Big E?
I did it twice. I did it 2 years in a row.
Because I remember something like this there, yeah.
Yeah, but the issue with Eastern States is that, you know, on the way to the state buildings, people come and watch me when I'm working, and I get a whole crowd of people. I stop working, and everybody moves out, and you don't really make that many sales. So it's just a lot of work without much rewards, so to speak.
Okay.
You know, I loved it, but I said, it's too much. And then they had all these restrictions. Instead of giving you a badge, you got to get tickets. And if you're working 17 hours, you know, you gotta have a little more fluidity, you know. So I passed on doing more 18 states. I do small shows. I do art shows and I do craft shows. But my basic business is entertaining at parties. I go to a bar mitzvah or a wedding, and everybody there gets a piece of glass, and I work for 5 hours, and then I give the host family special gifts as we go here. So these are the things to get picked from, you guys. Thank you again. Thank you.
There's the dolphin that's
Yeah.
finished
Oh, yeah.
up. Yeah. There's the final product on the dolphin after it's all cooled off.
Yeah.
And everything.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Here you go. Here you go. Come and choose.